New Zealander, I like to think that I'm a thinker. Often I just use that as an excuse to get out of playing sport. But I think that as a country, we're a nation of thinkers. We brought to the world egg beaters, sorbing, stamp vending machines, that number 8 wire mentality that we bring to everything we do, and which makes us stand out. But one thing we are terrible at is talking about thinking. The more we think, the less we talk, which is a shame because it's the sharing of scientific ideas which I think could benefit science in New Zealand in innumerable ways. I hate to sound like a needy girlfriend, but if we want to realise the immense potential that this country has, we're going to have to learn to communicate. Science communication is my favourite thing, and I think if we want to start growth happening in science and technology in this country, we just need to be more creative with the way we communicate, using the resources we have at hand. So we all have this idea of men in white coats sitting in cold labs and scribbling equations long into the night. That isn't how science is meant to be. We can't all come up with a general theory of relativity whilst working in a Berlin patent office, like some groundbreaking physicists I could mention. We've reached a stage of development where no one person can know everything. This is why we specialise, and we have chemists, biologists, physicists, marine biologists, quantum physicists. And the result of this is a great deal of very clever people who know almost everything about nearly nothing. But the really big ideas, the ideas that really make a difference, require scope, breadth, overarching meaning, because the real discoveries are in the connections between ideas. Take climate change, for example, the analysis of which requires chemists to analyse the atmosphere, meteorologists to analyse the weather, biologists to analyse organic emissions. No one discipline could analyse that area on its own. Now, I have enough trouble talking to shop assistants, but if we want to realise the potential this country has and come up with the really big ideas, then we need to do the unthinkable, actually talk to each other. But communication is needed not only within science, but without as well. Most research funding comes from the government, funding which in turn comes from us, the plebs. As a filthy commoner, I want to know where my hard-earned supermarket job dollars are being spent on by all those men in white coats. A lot of incredible research is sidelined because people just don't know about it. The media aren't interested, or they think people won't understand. There were already too many cute news stories about kittens that day. A lot of contentious things like genetic engineering, stem cell research, and complex ones like the physics going on at CERN could all benefit from a bit more public discussion. If a big idea were made of science, say if it were treated less like the domain only of highbrow intellectuals with their corduroy and machines that beep a lot, and more like something which everyone can understand, our endeavours in this country might go a lot further. But most importantly, I think, for New Zealand in particular, we need strong communication between scientists and businesses. As a nation of thinkers, our science and technology sectors are overflowing with ideas and research and enthusiasm. We need to start investment in that area to really bring our number 8 wire country forward into the big leagues of global innovation. We all have this mindset that scientists know about science and businessmen know about business, but this doesn't have to be. We need to start capitalising on our thinking, and that isn't going to happen until the science and business sectors are having a few more water cooler chats than they are now. So, herein lies our dilemma. How can we start talking about thinking, communicating in a way that isn't difficult to understand? I think the answer lies with technology and what we do with it. I say technology, that's quite a broad field. But what I mean is that in order to communicate ideas about our own innovation, we need to be innovative with the way that we do it. In education, a lot of people have a fear of technology with all its buttons and shiny things, making everything so complicated. This is because we've gone a bit mad with power, flinging around smart boards and flash animations almost as a substitute for actual learning. You'll all have been to a lecture where the slideshow is just page after page of Comic Sans, PowerPoint effects, it all gets very complicated and confusing. Before you all zone out and start daydreaming about the lunch buffet, this is not what I mean. I mean communication using technology as an extension of what we already do. It shouldn't be complicating things, it should be making them simpler. And the best way to do that is to take the technology we already own and use and extend it in a way that demonstrates an idea. For example, the great internet giant YouTube, destroyer of productivity, perpetrator of social ineptitude, 50% bad grammar, 50% cat videos. But at its center, what is YouTube? It's a collection of short video clips available for anyone to watch for free from anywhere in the world. Now look at TED.com, a collection of short video clips about science, which anyone can access for free from anywhere in the world. The reason I think TED.com is so successful is that it takes a common medium, which we're all familiar with, and uses it to do something incredibly useful. Not that cat videos aren't useful, but they have their place. Educational smartphone apps are another example. My personal favorite is an app called Molecules for iPhone. It allows the user to access a three-dimensional model of a molecule, zoom in, zoom out, rotate, available for download for free to anyone who owns an iPhone or an iPod, which is a lot of people. And there are others. There are graphing apps, programming, physics, biology, all immensely valuable because they take something which most of us already own and use, that's smartphone technology, and take advantage of the features that it offers, touchscreens, portability. So you see, technology we use to communicate doesn't need to be big and shiny and complicated and sponsored by Pepsi. The best thing we can do is take the technology which already surrounds us and use it to communicate. So these examples largely exist to communicate science with the public, which is great, and there are many more. But there are very few examples of this kind of communication in the two other areas that I mentioned. That's between scientists and businesses, and between scientists themselves. This may be because they're seen as overcomplicated, patronizing, newfangled, but I think that if utilized in the right way, this kind of communication in those areas could be invaluable. Science and innovation in New Zealand is a growing sector, and it's something I think we should be directly focusing on if we want to move forward. Sheep shearing and tourism is all very well, but this country has a lot more to offer. In order for that to happen, we need a flow of information between scientists and businesses and between specialists in different areas. And in order for that to happen, we need communication. So if I might make some suggestions, I feel I may immediately lose the respect and trust of everyone in this room when I utter the words social networking. Hear me out, hear me out. Most of you will be familiar with a form of social networking, which looks something like this. This arises because social networking sites, Facebook, Google+, MySpace, they're a form of entertainment. They're a way for people to keep in touch with their friends and socialize. But if we think about what social networking offers, it's a way to post ideas and concepts, to ask for feedback, to feed off the input of others, and allow the flow of information between groups and individuals all over the world, which for a tiny country stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and also in the mid-60s, judging by some of the decor, it's an invaluable resource. Why have this when you could have this? Now, I'm not saying we should break down all our proxies and start playing Farmville all day. Extant social networking sites have their place. But how about a similar resource with the same features purely for professional use? It's just an idea. Now have a look at sites like PledgeMe, a popular crowdfunding site where those with ideas for new business ventures ask for funding from the public to get them started. It's a simple way of getting those with ideas in touch with those with money. How about a similar resource for scientists with potential research ideas and investors who can pick out commercial potential? Facebook and smartphones and all of this common technology are often seen as lying purely in the realms of entertainment, of no use to academics and intellectuals. But why shouldn't they be? Angry Birds and Fruit Ninja are just the tip of the iceberg. These gadgets have a lot more than that to offer. So, if a particular design or cellular structure is too difficult to describe to your colleague, why not build it on Minecraft to demonstrate? Why not? If an investor is dubious about your new software idea, why not create a sample version and release it on MySpace to demonstrate its popularity? All of these are options. So what this all really boils down to is us being not like that curmudgeonly tweed-wearing professor who eschews all technology, and not like that trendy young teacher who says rad a lot and uses all those ridiculously expensive gadgets for the sake of it. It's about using what we already have in order to do what we want to do. And what we want to do is communicate, because that's what science is all about. Thank you.